Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the video. In this video, we guys a spoiler-free review on Netflix's newest movie starring Ryan Reynolds and Walker Scobell called The Adam Project. After accidentally crashing in 2002, time-traveling fighter pilot Adam Reed teams up with his 12-year-old self for a mission to save the future. So in terms of a basic synopsis, this movie sounds just like a basic time travel sci-fi heist type of movie where they're trying to figure something out for the future self or for the past self, but that's not where this movie exceeds in my opinion. This movie primarily exceeds in the aspect of being an emotional, family-driven story, and that's something I didn't really expect going into this movie. I think one big thing that carries the emotional weight of this is all of the performances. Now, I will say, I wish that some of the side characters had a little bit more screen time. For example, Zoe Saldana, who I barely knew was even in the movie. But the rest of the performances, for example, Ryan Reynolds, Walker Scobell, Mark Ruffalo, and Jennifer Garner, none of those performances disappoint at all, in my opinion. They're all great, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't watch any trailers or watch anything regarding the movie or even know much about the movie until Netflix gave me this early screener. So I went into this movie basically completely blind. I knew it had Ryan Reynolds and that's why I was excited for it. And again, Ryan Reynolds doesn't disappoint. He's somehow serious but still super funny in this movie. And I think that's where this movie really accelerates again because it's just very emotional while still hitting punches on every single other cylinder possible. On top of the great cast, the director is also the same guy that directed Free Guy, Sean Levy, and you can definitely see those aspects of the visuals in this movie. There's a lot of visuals, for example, the way that the sci-fi enemies die that are really similar to those in Free Guy, and you can definitely see the visual effect inspiration from Free Guy, and I'm not complaining because I absolutely love Free Guy. This movie actually on the surface, like I mentioned before, does seem very basic, but the writing elevates the emotional aspects, the familiar aspects, and all of those small little things craft this movie to be a lot better than you would expect for being a Netflix original, especially being a Netflix original blockbuster movie. Another example is like Red Notice, where Red Notice's story was like seeming basic and it ended up being basic, whereas this movie, it's advertised as an action movie, but at its core it is very emotional. And I actually feel like there's a lot of effort and I don't know, it feels like there's a lot more heart put in this movie than basic action-packed Netflix original movies. Now this movie again is very sci-fi heavy, but I do think that it accelerates in the parts where it's not as sci-fi-y. Now the beginning of the movie, without saying any spoilers, is very sci-fi-y. The very end of the movie is also very sci-fi-y, but towards the middle of the movie in the second act, you get to actually learn a lot more about Adam's character, the past and future version of himself, and it's actually really interesting in the way that these characters connect over things that they know. The older Adam can teach the younger Adam what he needs to know and kind of give him hints as to what's going to happen in the future of his life, and the younger Adam doesn't really pick up on it, but we as the audience understand what he's trying to say, and it feels very emotional. And again, that's another aspect of it being written really well. The comparisons between the future, past, and present Adam are just really well done. But there is one fatal flaw of this movie, and that is that the third act just kind of gets way too above the ground, and not in like space and stuff like that, but it feels a little bit too CGI heavy, a little bit too sci-fi heavy compared to the rest of the movie, and it feels like it's a completely different tone. It feels like there's just a jump of what the movie used to be and what it is now in the third act. And with that being said, the resolution of the movie is also very simple. It's not a bad resolution. I actually really had a fun time with it. It's very emotional and it's very heartfelt, but it is very basic rather than what I felt like they were building up throughout the entirety of this movie. And since the third act is very CGI heavy, it's very effects heavy, sometimes the CGI is lackluster, but I'm not going to use that to deduct points from this movie because as a whole, it's still a great written movie and I still had a lot of fun time with it. Again, at its core, The Adam Project is a family movie with sci-fi elements in it. The time travel in sci-fi is really cool, but the emotional aspects are what intrigue me the most. Overall, I'd probably give The Adam Project a solid 7.5 out of 10. If you enjoy emotional and sci-fi action-packed movies, I definitely recommend checking out The Adam Project. It comes out on Netflix March 11th. Let me know if you guys are excited for The Adam Project in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.